Hey everybody, welcome to the Daily Space Weather. I'm your host Dan, aka smAsho. Today we're talking about Hurricane Laura, weak solar output, a new Biden-Harris 2020 campaign merch, and lots more. Let's first look at the sun here in 335 angstroms. Active region rising in the northeast. We've got some custom views of that, as well as one setting in the northwest. Very low levels of solar activity. You see some missing data here on the Stereo A coronagraph. I just wanted to cite that for our viewers, as they're very savvy and they notice this kind of stuff. We've got 4 hours of data loss here at 2000 hours universal time yesterday, so actually that's more like 8 hours of data loss. It does not appear to be hiding a coronal mass ejection or anything like that. Like I said yesterday, there is a buildup of plasma between Earth and Sun. Here's the latest image of that active region. That's kind of an extreme close-up there, complete with the Earth scale. We didn't see any ombre when we did show prep, so we see 0 sunspots at this point. And by the end of the video, we'll check and see if any have formed in the meantime. Here's that area in 131 angstroms. By the way, we do see a sprite here. It's a plasma sprite. And I don't know if I'll be able to get that on screen or not for you. There it is. Very difficult to get these things on screen sometimes, folks. I apologize for the delay. Oh, it's back here. Okay. Anyway, it's right in that area. There it is. So, see this right here? It's not a spaceship. It's some plasma blasting around in the fields on the surface of the sun. That would be about, I don't know, the size of North America. So perhaps give Mr. MBB333 and Gina Maria Colvin Hill a call and tell them that, oh my God, there's a ship, and that they saw it first here on a channel who's losing subs. Bleeding like subs who have been stabbed. Bleeding subs like a channel who's been stabbed in the aorta. The 10.7 centimeter radio flux has dropped back down to 70. I believe it was 71. Now back down to 70. There's the previous cycle graph, and there you can see how proportional that is to sunspot number, as those two graphs are showing you sunspot number and radio flux. And for you new viewers, radio flux was discovered in 1947 by Canadian radio astronomers who were using some World War II retired gear from probably the Canadian military. KP index is at 1 for the past 9 hours. We don't see any flaring out of the sun. We don't see any big proton events. Proton flux remains flatlined. We've seen the solar wind ramp down in terms of speed over the past 18 hours. Dropping from a high of around 400 kilometers per second, now down to more like 350 kilometers per second. Solar wind density has been ramping up to 12 protons per cubic centimeter. We see the likelihood of coronal hole magnetic connections here, as we've just settled in at 180 degrees or so while I was doing show prep. Noted here in pane number 2, the phi angle. So little uptick in the density and downtick in the solar wind speed. Looks like a coronal hole wind stream coming in, and we'll be interested to see if this solar wind density has leveled out or not. It didn't get above 15 protons per cubic centimeter. Here's what's going on in terms of magnetohydrodynamic pressure. And if you hear a rumbling sound, it's not because we're on the Starship Enterprise-D. We've decided to broadcast from the smash bunker. So if you hear that distinctive rumble, that's the sound of the smash bunker. There's 4 hours of data on the magnetosphere. Here's Earth ground magnetic perturbations. This is more like magnetism at the lithosphere level. Nothing too extravagant going on there, except I would remind our viewers of the fact that we are living through a polar excursion, a geomagnetic polar excursion. We've got 2 North Poles, and the South Pole has left Antarctica and crept into the southern Indian Ocean. Next, looking at the GOES magnetometer, and we see a bunch of spiky points like here and here, and we're going to continue to see that. I'll show you why on the next pane. So for the next, I'll say 48 hours actually, you're going to see repeated sawtooth little spikes in here, and it has to do with the directness of the magnetism. So you can see there's a bunch of plasma out in these areas, these little like plasma towers essentially, and those are going to show weak magnetism when the potential field force line between Earth and Sun is there, and stronger magnetism when it's in between those areas. That active region not looking super strong right now, although there could be a big umbra trailing that leading field. It happens sometimes, and that is where the coronal holes are also. Here's a line of sight field plot, and you see that bump in the B field there approaching the region of stereo A. Let's take a look at the line of sight coronal hole field plot real quick, just to sort of, there we go, there's the latest image there. That's about 2 hours old, and you can see that North Pole coronal hole area, large and in charge of the entire current sheet. And you can see the whole current sheet here shown in green. That's north solar polar field polarity. There's a synoptic map, nothing too exciting happening there either. Let's talk cosmology for a quick moment. Now we've got playlists, and thanks for leaving comments, Tin Man 1057 and Boj420. Cheers from the Lehigh Valley to Oklahoma and to Wisconsin. Thanks for leaving comments. So yeah, let's talk cosmology. First thing we're going to talk about is today's featured transient outburst. This is the X-ray output of Sagittarius A star, the core of the Milky Way galaxy. And here you can see, actually, we had some significant outbursts in the past couple of days. So there you can see that's around 0.03, which would be way up here on the extreme high side of X-ray outbursts from Sagittarius A star. Sagittarius A star, the massive radio source at the core of the Milky Way galaxy, is tracked by the Neil Gorell Swift Observatory. It's the Burst Alert Telescope, X-ray transient monitor. Don't believe us. If you want to monitor it yourself, just search for the Neil Gorell Swift Observatory. Did you know that space could be teeming with life? As rogue planets that aren't even orbiting stars could outnumber the stars, because generally they will not emit light. They will not emit light when not orbiting a star. So there could be planets floating around everywhere, and beyond that, some stars could have as many as 7 habitable planets in orbit, such as the TRAPPIST-1 system, which has got a bunch of gas giants and a totally different kind of star and so on. But, you know, there's everybody talks about the Goldilocks zone and stuff, and we don't talk about exoplanets much because we're still more interested in heliophysics. But another interesting article here, as some articles have come out about how, you know, rogue planets may outnumber stars, and I don't see why it's a crazy theory at all, or even surprising that less massive objects may outnumber more massive objects. The reason we see stars is because they emit light, because of things happening at their surface. Now, why are those things happening at the surface? Because of the condensed matter inside of them. Now, we are streaming live to Twitch. Again, thanks for the viewers who are viewing the live content, and for subscribing over at Twitch, as well as those who are reposting the videos and stuff. Check it out. There's multiple smashes. It's the multiple smash head segment. And we are also on all kinds of other social media. If you're viewing on YouTube, please take a moment to press like and subscribe over there as well. Today's Smash Lights segment will be recorded separately. It won't be part of today's daily space weather. We are also on BitChute, and we put up an exclusive over there yesterday. So if you haven't subscribed there, well, you won't see that content. Also, we're on Facebook, facebook.com/smashamash. Here's the most recent post. We've added what makes our hair smell so great on our Amazon affiliate links. It's smashamash.com/affiliate. Oh yeah, it's Garnier Fructis. We keep our hair prepared in case somebody wants to smell it from behind. We're also on Twitter, where we say things like, oh no, Greenland is melting. As long as melting means 15 plus feet of snow from coast to coast all summer and last, since the Northern Hemisphere has had 2 standard deviations above normal snowfall for 3 winters in a row. Twitter.com/smashamash. It's a great way to find conversations with people like Tony Heller. And of course, we've got our latest campaign ad. By the way, if you don't understand the aesthetics of this yet, we'll talk about this more later. The brown lettering and the blue glow and the covidiocy and so on. Let's talk about our mission. You can read all about it at smashamash.com/forum/mission. Number 3 is to connect and consult with media organizations to multiply our reach. Well, that's not working. We're bleeding subscribers on YouTube. We're probably under 1,600 now, and we have utterly stagnated. We consider pulling the content from YouTube every single day. And I don't mean I'm not talking about just not putting out videos anymore. I'm talking about making the entire channel private, only offering it to patrons and so on. By the way, if you've got a breaking news story or any sort of interesting stuff, images or anything like that you'd like to send us, check out the smAsho VoIP line. Now, for VoIP lines, we like to use Talkatone. If you want to make your smartphone into a second phone, check out Talkatone.com. It's a great service, and it'll allow your phone to text and call for free, just under Wi-Fi. I mean, you can use a cell signal for it too. However, some of us may be in spots like, oh, I don't know, in an underground bunker, smAsho bunker, where you don't get a cell signal, in which case you can use that line. The smAsho VoIP line's area code 610-936-9799. It's also listed on the Facebook page and on the website and so on. Country code +1, area code 610-936-9799. Now we've got 2 storefronts on Teespring, 2 storefronts on Teespring. One of them's got the basic logo, the Smash Team, and the 3C405 and 3C405 Bagashov edition shirt. Shout out to Eugene. Hopefully he's doing well. And here's the latest contribution. It's the Covidiocy and Blatant Corruption Biden-Harris 2020 shirt. So you're welcome, Bo J. We love Talkatone. We've been using it for a long time. It's fantastic. So now what we've done here is we've made the letters into poop brown letters. We've included the smashamash.org link there, which Kamala is pointing at. And then you've got the lovely graphic of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris high-fiving in some sort of a crazy ritualistic ceremony while wearing masks and looking a lot like the Taliban and complete covidiots. Let's get back to space stuff. We'll talk more about our links in a moment. And the Electron Flux has gone back to a cratered level where we saw it for a solid, geez, I don't know, 2 months or so. We saw it at a very, very low level. Well, it's back down to that level now, and we're not expecting it to go up today. It won't get anywhere near warning levels. And this relativistic electron forecast model looks like it's about right. That sounds like a reasonable model to me. Here's the forecast visualization. This is the whole air column. You're looking at the whole thermosphere here. The thermosphere all the way down to ground level, which will give you a great idea of GPS errors, and don't expect many of them today. Next, looking at just the ionosphere. And it looked a little bit anomalous there. Let's see what's going on. This is the past 6 hours of the ionosphere, complete with date stamps. Let me bring up the latest image here and check the life of the stream. Again, thanks for everybody who views live or who views Memorex. We enjoy watching the live premieres with the audience. And there will be another video coming out today, the Daily Smashlights. The Smashlights segment, I guess you should call it. Anyway, there's the image from 1015 looking pretty normal there in the ionosphere. Here's where stuff is in the solar system. There's where we expect things to be in 1 week, and it still looks like Frito-Lay is trying to take over the solar system and indeed the galaxy, as we have another Dorito-shaped triangle forming here in the interplanetary system. Frito-Lay, please do not take over the galaxy and the universe unless you're going to provide free Doritos for everybody. Next, looking at a star chart, I like to use in-the-sky.org. If you're up before dawn, you should get a great view of Venus if you've got clear skies, and a view of the ecliptic. Mars a little bit closer to the apex of the ecliptic, and one of the features of in-the-sky.org is being able to draw that in. And there you have it. From my perspective, I'm located near Allentown, Pennsylvania, in Lehigh Valley. That's as close of a reference as we're going to give you, folks, because I don't want you showing up in the local neighborhood trying to stalk me. All right. It could end badly for all parties involved. Next, let's look at earthquakes. And we've seen one 6+ magnitude quake over the past 24 hours. We'll get to it. Just scrolling up the list here. 5.6 struck Tonga. It was not a deep quake, even though that happened in the deep quake capital of the world, the area north of New Zealand. So here's that 6 at Costa Rica. Hopefully that didn't do too much damage. I doubt all the buildings are built fully earthquake-proof there, although it looks like it's in a fairly rural area. Looks pretty mountainous there. Anyway, there's the location of that Costa Rican quake, which, by the way, came in at 21:51, about 2 hours before midnight Universal Time yesterday. Here's Tonga with another quake there. Here's a deep quake at Fiji, so that's in between those two Tongan quakes. It's a 4.1 magnitude quake at 531 kilometers depth. That's pretty deep. And let's move on to volcanoes at volcanodiscovery.com. Abico's erupting. It's producing a 10,000-foot plume of ash. Semeru, likewise, 13,000-foot plume of ash. Explosive activity continues at Dacono. Flight level 080 or 8,000, Rincon de la Vieja in Costa Rica, erupting, providing multiple disasters, producing a 3,200-foot tall flame. 3,280 feet of volcanic ash cloud there. Sangay doing an effusive explosive eruption and also producing a 22,000-foot ash plume. Pyroclastic flows could be making a bad day for people around the base of that. Let's hope nobody's in the business end of that. Revenador exploding, also 15,000-foot ash plume there. Sabancaya also exploding. Flight level 250, 25,000 feet there. Please don't attempt to fly a hang glider over the caldera. Flew through the volcanic ash plume. California still got some power outages, currently reported at 13,000 of 10, nearly 11 million tracked custies. Tropical Tidbits is talking about how Marco is quickly decaying. We kind of forecasted that, citing all of the dry air. We don't go too in-depth into that, as we wouldn't want to do something like step on David Schlottower's toes. No. But Laura apparently becoming a serious threat to Texas and Louisiana, and must be some conflicting models there. If you want to read more about it, head to tropicaltidbits.com. By the way, above Hurricane Laura, or if it's a tropical storm or a hurricane, I'm not exactly sure. I don't sit in front of the newswire all day, but we've got some insane, let's see, they're not really sprites, they're jets, actually. So a great example of mesosphere, possibly thermosphere scale stuff. If you want to see that stuff for yourself, head to spaceweather.com. They've got the whole story about that. And yeah, 2 gigantic jets. Basically weather from space, folks. All your weather in terms of things like precipitation occur all the way down here in the troposphere. But there's a lot of stuff going on above the troposphere. Strive to understand the physics of it, right? As the Earth behaves as a capacitor in some ways. Next, we're trying to look at weather.gov, and there you can see The entire Gulf Coast is lit up with warnings. We'll get more in depth into that, assuming the next page loads. I don't even know what we're waiting for here. Let's hope we don't crash like we did yesterday and have an abrupt ending to the content. Stream is looking large and in charge. Now we're trying to look at windy.com here. I don't know what the heck the deal is. Let's just move on. If I can gain control of my browser, which apparently I cannot do. There we go. Let's just skip windy.com entirely. Okay, it's working. All right, so we've got a forecast here. Please function. I know it's a lot to ask for a website to function, but you know, could be beneficial. Just saying. I'll be surprised if this whole thing doesn't come crashing down. All right, so here's the forecast for rain and thunder. We're gonna zoom in a little bit here. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe so. All right. I need a gaming rig. Please donate to the cause at smashomash.com. Anyway, here's the GFS forecast for the way this thing's going to track. And I'm just going to sit back and let that play. And it is really not cooperating. So we are so off of this page. I apologize for the delay. Windy.com does have a great mobile app, by the way. And it probably won't crash your PC because your PC is probably superior to mine. And again, I've got 9,000 tabs open in 2 different windows. And the whole system is about to come crumbling down, crashing to the ground, and making me sound like somebody who is utterly enraged. Utterly enraged. All right. Let's see if we can get this thing rolling again here. Lightningmaps.org is not responding either. And we are screwed, folks. All right, it's about time for me to pull the plug out of the wall like I'm starting a lawnmower. Anyway, I like to use lightningmaps.org for my real-time lightning maps. It works great if anything loads, and nothing's loading. So let's just move on to water vapor maps for Africa and Europe. How about water vapor maps for areas like Fremunda and the Far East, places such as Tokyo? How about water vapor maps for the Americas? Oh my God, it's actually working. Holy cripes. Well, paint me blue and call me Betty Rubble. The Don Lemon anticyclone is breaking up over northeastern South America. Sorry, Don Lemon. That anticyclone is looking weak, like your journalist credentials. Next, looking at the U.S. Doppler Radar Map. Some strong storms here moving over southern Lake Michigan, as well as across northern PA and New York. It's going to miss us, I think. Could come close. I don't care. Here's what's going on in the cloud layer. It's still kind of dark there. We can't use the visible satellite so early in the morning. Let's take a look at the shortwave radiation map of LoRa. We've got significant counterclockwise rotation. We do have jet stream level inputs on this as well. I don't see hurricane speed winds currently from what I'm looking at. So there you go. I can see some 65 mile per hour winds there. It's close to hurricane scale. I don't know what the forecast is for it intensifying. I just wanted to show you the surface winds versus flight level 25,000. So you can see there is a kink here, and oftentimes in really powerful hurricanes you'll see a clockwise rotation in the upper portions of hurricanes. We don't see that, but the fact that we see any kink in the jet stream at all is significant. Let's look at the rest of the jet stream. That's an indication that it's not super weak. And you can see some extreme meridional jet stream flow here. where you've got jet stream coming from the northeast heading southwest over Cuba. Let's look at the rest of the Western world. There you go. There's the Western world's jet streams, and you can see they are all over the place once again. Some extremely cold air being pulled down into places like the Upper Peninsula, Wisconsin, and Michigan. Here are the jets of the eastern world, and you can see a large significant jet stream flow here over the equator moving east to west. Next, looking at the U.S. water vapor map, and we're going to zoom in on LoRa, as this is probably the best view that you'll see the NASA GOES interactive weather satellite. Brought to you by me at massive personal risk and expense, where I gain basically nothing for making the videos, and I can't even scroll. Great! There we go. Oh my gosh, I feel like I've accomplished something. I've simply gotten graphics on the screen. For those of you not aware, I used to be the scrim team leader in some FPS gaming clans where we played enemy territory at a moderately decent level. And that's part of where my name came from. smAsho Mash is from playing Special Ops 2 Green Berets back in 1999 while recovering from a badly broken tibia. Anyway, there's LoRa. I'm going to just take a quick look here over Pennsylvania also, as it looks like we've got some varying weather here over northern PA. And there you go. There's a view for all you mid-Atlantic type folks. Could have variable weather here in much of northeastern Pennsylvania. By the way, we are on Subscribestar. Thanks everybody who's decided to subscribe over there. I know people take issues with Patreon, free speech issues and so on. So check us out at subscribestar.com/Patreon. There's only one tier there right now, as it's a very slow burn. Our true source of funding is Patreon. Thanks very much to our patrons and to all of our viewers, but especially our patrons, as we need lots more funding to accomplish our goals in 2020. We're nowhere near them. We're about 1/3 of the way to our goals. So consider becoming a patron if you haven't yet. We're tanking over here in terms of views, etc. Thanks to the Smash team, allow me to vanish. Check the chat one more time. Again, thanks everybody for leaving comments. And thanks to the Smash team for sharing on your social media. Please consider pressing like and subscribe if you enjoy the content over on YouTube. As again, we are bleeding subscribers, and every day considering making all of the content private and not visible to people publicly or free. And it all has to do with things like YouTube and other big tech censorship. If you haven't checked out smashomash.org yet, it'll redirect you to smashomash.com, its sister site. And you can see the links to the forum, the Smash store, the other Smash store, the affiliate link, and all of our social media. Great job, smAsho staff. It looks delightfully. Thanks for flying American Smashways. Keep your head and arms inside the Smash plane at all times. We've got bonus features. We're going to show you the 193 angstrom view, as there are major coronal holes in the north. We're going to show you the colorized magnetogram and the intensitygram. There's the latest on that active region. And we don't see any umbrae, and we don't likely see any umbrae trailing it there. It looks like most of the activity is right here, with a little bit out here also. Not really even looking like a sunspot at this point. I highly doubt we'll see any umbrae. And there could be one peeking through there. It's a little bit tough to see this close to the limb if I'm going to keep an eye on some spot. That's the ion spot I'd be keeping an eye on throughout the day. And when I say ion, well, the pun is entirely intentional. So we've got a bunch of coronal holes in the north there. I think we've just established a magnetic connection with some of those coronal hole systems. North Pole entirely in charge of the current sheet. Welcome to the Neo Renaissance. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, stare at the sun, don't drink. And if you do, don't drive. And since it'll never be now again, may that solar wind be at your back, and that covidiousy absent from your locale.